We know folks are going to do everything they can to distort her truth. My husband and I sadly know a little something about this. For years, Donald Trump did everything in his power to try to make people fear us. See, his limited, narrow view of the world made him feel threatened by the existence of two hard-working, highly educated, successful people who happen to be black.
With your support on November 5th, you know what was nasty to me? Michelle Obama. She was, ooh. I always tried to be so nice and respectful. Oh, she opened up a little bit of a box. She opened up a little bit of something. Oh, she was nasty. Ooh. Shouldn't be that way. That was a big mistake that she made.
Donald Trump just got hit with a reality check from none other than Michelle Obama. And let's just say, it wasn't pretty. Her speech was smooth, sharp, and delivered with the kind of grace that Trump could only dream of. And his response, a full-blown digital meltdown, complete with all-caps rants, a ketchup bottle possibly flying across the room, and his team scrambling for damage control. But what exactly did she say that sent Trump spiraling? And why does Michelle's mere existence trigger him so badly? Let's break it down.
So, I hope you'll forgive me if I'm a little frustrated that some of us are choosing to ignore Donald Trump's gross incompetence while asking Kamala to dazzle us at every turn. I hope that you'll forgive me if I'm a little angry that we are indifferent to his erratic behavior, his obvious mental decline, his history as a convicted felon.
Michelle Obama, being the class and intelligence person that she is, didn't mince words. She went after Trump's incompetence, his decline in mental acuity, and of course, the little fact that he's now a convicted felon. Being president isn't a reality TV show, she said, and with that, Trump's ego took a body blow. But this wasn't merely a political attack. Michelle's words were so piercing because they came from someone Trump has been fixated on for years.
We have a candidate for president who over the course of his lifetime, in the course of this campaign, has said things about women that are so shocking that I simply will not repeat anything here today. It has shaken me to my core in a way that I couldn't have predicted. This was a powerful individual speaking freely and openly about sexually predatory behavior and actually bragging about kissing and groping women, using language so obscene that many of us were worried about our children hearing it when we turn on the TV.
Donald Trump has wasted an embarrassing amount of time attempting to dismantle the Obamas, from spearheading the racist birther movement to incessantly complaining about them in interviews and on Twitter. His fixation is near seditious. Consider this.
I am sick of all the chaos and the nastiness of our politics. It's exhausting.
This is the same individual who cited his win in the election during Aretha Franklin's funeral. That is unparalleled insecurity. And in the meantime, Michelle and Barack, they don't even recognize him. And that really gets Trump insane. While he's still crying about crooked elections, Michelle is cutting deals at Netflix, penning bestsellers, and inspiring millions. One of them leads. The other whines on Twitter about low-flow toilets. Michelle's speech not only criticized Trump's shortcomings, it revealed the worst nightmare of them all, becoming irrelevant. She reminded everyone of his record of disrespecting women, his disastrous presidency, and how his devotees blindly come to the defense of a man who has no respect for them. The cruelest part? She didn't even need to insult him. She just read out the facts, and Trump's ego did the rest. His response was as predictable as always. On cue, he blew up into an all-caps rant. He insulted Michelle as being nasty, his default put-down for any woman who doesn't fawn over him. He complained of unfair treatment, and somewhere in his tirade likely managed to blame Joe Biden, the deep state, and perhaps even hamburgers costing too much. Trump's greatest issue is that he will never possess what Michelle Obama possesses: respect. She needn't insist on it. She doesn't have to slap slogans on red hats or plead for approval at rallies. People respect her because she's earned it, and that reality alone drives Trump into a tailspin every time.
These last 8 years, in his first term alone, Barack had to rescue our economy from the worst crisis since the Great Depression. He had to make the call to take out Osama bin Laden, respond to devastating natural disasters like Hurricane Sandy, and so much more. So when it comes to the qualifications we should demand in a president, to start with, we need someone who'll take the job seriously.
The difference between them couldn't be clearer. Michelle penned a best-selling memoir that millions actually read. Trump started a blog that lasted fewer weeks than a carton of milk. Michelle is leading global initiatives, while Trump is struggling to recall which of his court proceedings he is next supposed to attend. Michelle is admired all over the world, whereas Trump is still frantically yelling about fake news from Mar-a-Lago. And then Melania. If Michelle embodies a first lady with dignity and poise, Melania embodies a woman who already checked out of her marriage years ago in her head. Whenever Trump goes off the rails about Michelle, Melania's face tells us all, why am I still here? And believe me, we'd all like to know.
If you remember when I met with Obama, his wife was very nasty to me the other day. Oh, that was not nice. She was very nasty. She said nasty things. I was always very respectful of her, but she got up there, which shows you how nervous they are about what's happening. But she was nasty 2 days ago. She got up and said some bad things she shouldn't have said. They were wrong, too.
To you, those folks just aren't very smart and seem somehow less deserving. And if you think this way, then it's easy to see this country as us versus them.
Trump's whole image is predicated on one thing: being loved. But here's the reality check. Michelle Obama doesn't have to insist on respect. She gets it. While Trump makes people applaud him at his rallies, Michelle gets standing ovations for merely walking into a room. That comparison is terrible news for him. Every time Michelle utters facts, Trump plays the victim, saying that the media is out to get him, that the Obamas are conspiring against him, and that he is the real victim. He constructed his entire identity on winning, but seems to whine more than anyone else. And in deflecting criticism, Trump uses the same playbook every single time. If he's being called out, he immediately changes the subject. Maybe he blames Hillary, Obama, or in a truly desperate move, brings up something from 2008 that no one even remembers. The goal? Confuse his base enough that they forget what they were talking about in the first place.
And Michelle hit me the other day. I was so nice to her. Out of respect, I was saying that. She hit me the other day. I was going to say to my people, am I allowed to hit her now? They said, take it easy, sir. Sir, take it easy. My geniuses, I'm telling you, they said, just take it easy. Oh, what do you mean? She said bad about me. I can't hit back. Sir, you're winning.
At the end of the day, Trump will always convince himself that he won. Michelle Obama just destroyed him on national television? Fake news. Everyone is laughing at him? No, they're secretly envious. His approval ratings are plummeting? Lies. In his head, reality is just a nuisance that can be disregarded with sufficient caps lock and exclamation marks. He even went on a tirade about how Michelle was so nasty to him, claiming he was always so nice and didn't deserve it. That's typical Trump, playing dumb that people don't like him after he spent all these years sowing hate and division. Michelle Obama is more than a former first lady. She's a reflection of what real leadership is about. Trump, by contrast, is a warning. Whenever Michelle speaks, she puts the world in mind of what real leaders are made of: dignity, intelligence, and compassion. And each time Trump reacts, he reminds us why he was a one-term president who lost by millions.
I want to know, who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs?
This isn't merely another petty spat, it's a reflection of something more. Michelle is the future, progress, integrity, and the notion that leadership is about service, not ego. Trump is the past, hanging onto his golden toilet while shrieking about witch hunts. And that, folks, is why Michelle Obama wins every time. Not because she's trying to, but simply because being herself is enough to make Trump lose it in real time. Let's rewind a bit though and consider the larger context. Trump's fascination with the Obamas didn't begin yesterday. It dates back to the birther movement, a racist hoax he used to attempt to delegitimize Barack Obama's presidency. At the forefront of the pack was Donald J. Trump, a man who never encountered a conspiracy theory that he didn't embrace. Bring it forward to 2016, and Michelle Obama was back on the campaign trail, giving impassioned speeches without ever deigning to go down to Trump's level. One speech in particular, given in New Hampshire, responded to the infamous Access Hollywood tape in which Trump was heard boasting about sexual assault.
I noticed that you went back to the White House recently. You haven't been back.
No.
Since
Wasn't invited.
Ooh, shade. You know, that's a tradition. You do your official portraits. The next president is supposed to invite you back to hang them. We were never invited back, so these pictures have been done.
Michelle didn't even have to say his name. Her words alone shook the country. Trump, of course, responded in the only way he knows how, by attacking her. He accused her of giving one of the most divisive speeches I've ever heard. He then suggested she should watch her husband, whatever that was supposed to mean. It was classic Trump: deflect, distract, demean. Michelle Obama, however, is nothing if not resilient. She continues to push decency and integrity, using her platform to uplift and inspire. Her memoir was a bestseller, reaching millions of people, while Trump, disqualified from the big social media platforms, started his own blog, which failed shortly after launch. The difference between them couldn't be starker. On one end, you have a woman whose legacy is founded upon intelligence, grace, and authenticity. On the other hand, a man whose legacy is founded on division, lies, and desperation. History will ultimately remember those who stood for something bigger than themselves. And despite how many anger posts Trump writes, Michelle Obama will always be taller, because actual leadership isn't derived from a title, a tweet account, or a catchphrase. It is derived from character, and that's something Trump will never grasp. If you found this analysis enjoyable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, what's your favorite Trump meltdown? Because let's face it, there are too many to list.